Most motorcycle accidents don't start with a big mistake. They start with something tiny. A driver never saw you, a driver never heard you, or you had no warning that the car behind you was closing fast. And then that little failure becomes a crash chain. So here's what we're doing. 12 gadgets and upgrades for 2026 that cut the most common chains. Rear ends, left turn pulls, and low-speed chaos that puts you on the ground and off the bike. Practical installs, real use cases, no gimmicks. If this kind of breakdown helps, subscribe. And comment the one risk you deal with most where you ride. Let's start with visibility. Seen, heard, and not rear-ended number 12. A high-output horn, the air horn class. Here's the truth. Your stock horn is polite. And polite doesn't work when someone's drifting into your lane with their face in a phone. What you want is a horn that's closer to what drivers are conditioned to react to. Loud and sharp enough to cut through music, closed windows, and tunnel vision. Use it like a tool, not a tantrum. One short controlled blast when you see wheels rolling or a head not turning. Left turners creeping, lane encroaches, merge squeezes. This is where a real horn earns its spot. Before you buy, do a quick fit check. Mounting space, relay requirements, and weather sealing. Install it right, and it works when you need it. Spam it, and it becomes background noise. Number 11, a helmet-mounted smart brake light with deceleration sensing. This fixes a problem a lot of riders don't think about until it's too late. Engine braking and downshifting don't turn on your brake light. You can be slowing hard while the car behind you gets zero signal that the gap is shrinking. A smart helmet brake light uses an accelerometer to detect deceleration and flash automatically. No wiring into the bike. It's basically a second brake light higher up, right in the driver's line of sight. What to look for? Secure mount, real waterproofing, daylight visibility, and charging you'll actually keep up with. And you want clean logic, triggering on real decel, not random head movement. Number 10, a brake light modulator. Drivers miss steady lights. That's not an opinion, it's how attention works. If a driver's brain is on autopilot, a constant red light blends into every other red light on the road. A modulator interrupts that autopilot with a brief flash pattern when you apply the brakes, and then it settles into steady so you're not just strobing nonstop. Two guardrails here. First, legality varies. Different places have different rules on flash patterns, so choose a setup that's designed to be road legal where you live, and keep the flash brief. Second, don't use it as an excuse to brake late. It's a visibility upgrade, not a physics upgrade. A simple retention test. Have a friend follow you from different distances and lighting conditions. Ask them when they first notice you braking. If their answer changes, you just bought yourself reaction time. Number 9, daytime and night conspicuity add-ons. Reflective plus auxiliary lighting. Most people think more light is the whole game. The real secret is motion cues. Reflective material on fork legs, luggage, and your helmet creates a moving pattern that reads motorcycle, not random dot. If you add auxiliary lights, aim them correctly. Glare makes drivers angry, and angry drivers do dumb stuff around you. And skip cheap adhesives. If it isn't secure, it becomes road debris. Once a month, wipe reflectives, check wiring, and confirm modes still work. And here's the transition. Being seen helps a lot. Being heard helps a lot. But you still lose if you can't control the bike when conditions turn ugly. Control under stress, hands, tires, and small mistakes. Number 8, heated grips. And no, this isn't a comfort item. It's a control upgrade. Cold hands slow your reactions and wreck fine motor control. That's how you end up death gripping the bars, grabbing too much brake at a stop, or missing a downshift when you need it most. When you're shopping, focus on what affects real use. Grip thickness, especially on long rides. A controller you can use with gloves, and clean fused wiring with a low voltage cutoff so you don't drain the battery. They pay for themselves on cold commutes and long highway stretches where wind chill turns your hands into a liability. Number 7, a portable air compressor, because tire pressure is grip. Most riders check tires for looks fine and call it a day. But pressure is what decides how your contact patch behaves when you brake hard, hit rain grooves, or dodge potholes mid-corner. A few PSI low doesn't always feel dramatic at first. It just makes the bike vague. And vague is dangerous because you don't trust what the bike is telling you. A compressor makes the habit easy. Look for one with an accurate gauge you can read in sunlight, enough max PSI to handle your bike, and a charging method that fits your life. USB 12-volt or built-in battery. Packability matters too. If it's a brick you hate carrying, it'll stay in the garage. And adopt this mindset. Don't trust gas station gauges. They get dropped, they get abused, and they're often wrong. If you have your own compressor, you control the data and you control the traction. The routine is simple. Check cold pressure before the ride, adjust it, and you've already reduced your odds of a wobble, a slide, or a tire that overheats on a long day. Number 6, a tire plug or repair kit. This isn't about being tough. It's about not riding on hope. The most common puncture story is boring. You pick up a nail, the tire holds air, you don't notice, and then the rear starts feeling squirmy at the worst possible time, like a fast sweeper or heavy braking in traffic. That's when the day gets expensive. A solid kit has plugs, a reamer, an insertion tool, and cement. Add disposable gloves because you don't want greasy hands on your grips, and toss in a small knife or cutter to trim the plug. If you run tubeless tires, a plug kit plus compressor is the combo that turns a tow into a 10-minute stop. Decision rules matter. If you're losing pressure fast, the puncture is on the sidewall, or the tire is damaged, don't plug it and send it. Call for help. If it's a simple tread puncture and the plug seals cleanly, ride cautiously and get the tire properly repaired or replaced as soon as you can. Number 5, a phone mount with vibration isolation. This is about reducing distraction and protecting your phone. A shaky mount turns navigation into a constant glance-down habit, and that's when you miss the brake lights 2 cars ahead. Plus, modern phones with optical image stabilization can be damaged by motorcycle vibration, and manufacturers have warned about that. So the mount isn't a nice-to-have. It's a safety system for your eyes and your wallet. Set it up like you'd set up a critical control. You want a strong lock, a tether as backup, and a position that doesn't block your gauges or your steering. Do a fit test. Turn the bars lock to lock, hit some rough pavement, and then recheck the hardware. If it loosens once, it'll loosen again. Control keeps you upright. But sometimes, even when you do everything right, things still go wrong. So next we're covering impact protection, theft, and proof. Number 4. An action camera, and the real reason is evidence. Most riders buy a camera thinking about content. The smarter reason is the moment a driver says, "You came out of nowhere, and now you're arguing with someone who just proved they weren't paying attention." Footage doesn't fix the crash, but it can fix the story afterward. Insurance claims, hit-and-run plates, and the difference between "he said, she said," and "here's what happened." Keep it practical. Run loop recording so you don't have to think about it. Have a battery plan because dead cameras only record regret. And mount it like it matters, tight, secure, and checked occasionally. Last thing you want is your proof flying off on the first pothole. Number 3, Bluetooth comms because it keeps your eyes up and your hands on. You don't need to be chatting all day for this to be a safety upgrade. The win is turn-by-turn directions without staring at your phone, and quick warnings when you're riding with someone else. The best comms units are the ones you can control with gloves, that handle whine noise decently, and that last long enough that you're not rationing battery like it's an emergency. And here's where it gets interesting. Comms can prevent the second mistake. Your buddy sees gravel mid-corner and calls it out. Someone spots a car drifting over the center line and you get a warning before you're in it. Or you reroute before a sketchy intersection instead of doing a last-second lane change. It's not magic. It's just better information delivered at the right moment. Number 2, a GPS tracker because theft is fast and recovery is slow. If your bike gets stolen, the first few minutes matter. A hidden tracker with motion alerts and geofencing gives you a chance to act while the bike is still nearby. Look for long battery life or a hardwired option, an app that's actually reliable, and alerts that don't come 10 minutes late. Subscription cost matters too, because the best tracker is the one you keep active. And a quick reality check, don't play hero. If you get a live location, Call police first, give them the info, and let them handle it. Showing up alone to recover your bike is how a theft turns into something worse. Number 1, an airbag vest or airbag jacket system. This is the biggest payoff because it addresses the part you can't negotiate with: impact energy. Your best skills can still get beaten by a driver turning left, a deer, oil, or someone rear-ending you at a stop. Airbag systems are built to reduce the force that hits your chest, back, and neck, areas that can end your season or your riding entirely. The choice usually comes down to tethered versus untethered. Tethered is simple. You clip in, you come off, it deploys. Untethered uses sensors to decide when you're crashing and deploys without a cord. But it costs more and often involves charging and sometimes subscriptions, depending on the brand. Either way, fit matters. It has to sit correctly on your torso, cover the right zones, and work with your jacket in your normal riding posture. Do a quick fit test routine. Put on your full gear, sit on the bike, check mobility, check coverage, and build the activation habit so you don't forget it on the one day you need it. The hard truth is simple. You can ride perfectly and still get hit. This is your last line of defense. Buy upgrades that interrupt crash chains. Get seen, keep control, and protect what can't be replaced when impact happens. If you want my next step-by-step safety system, watch the 2-minute pre-ride inspection video on screen now. Comment the first gadget you'll add and subscribe for more.